What are you talking about?
Depends on perspective, right?
I'm in
There's no
California and I don't agree
alligators.
with that statement.
I like the weather here better. Florida's too
Well,
humid.
if that's a true statement, why are so many people moving to Florida
That's
from
because
California?
well,
Why did
you have a much better
California run out of U-Haul trucks?
you have a much better governor than we do.
That's funny. How far, Corey, how far are you from Daryl? Daryl, where are you at, like in relation to Corey?
About an hour, a little over an hour.
Yeah, well, hour with traffic. He's probably less than 28 miles from me.
Yeah,
Hmm. Wow. Okay.
there's
Did you
always
get to know
traffic.
each other prior to the pack at all?
No,
No. Okay. Wonderful. Good morning, gang. So the thought process essentially was to have the four coaches on today as a panel just to collaborate with you. You can Q&A us. We can just go back and forth and hear different thoughts on the same call. Gretchen, unbeknownst to us, had her son's field trip is today, so she's on that field trip. She's the only one that won't be here. And Felicia is logging on from the car. And then what we also want to do is just have their experience that they've had with all the coaches, any of the coaches, anything that they've learned, how they've applied it, what's been altered in their life, how they've grown personally and or professionally, and just share that instead of hearing it coming from us, hearing it come from the actual people attending the calls. We felt as though it would be absolutely fabulous. So that's what today's call is about. Are there any thoughts or questions of Cory and I? And as Felicia joins, you can ask, or even of any of us, any thoughts or questions that you want to bring to our attention? My microphone must be broken. Hold on one second.
Well, all right, I'm not afraid to kick things off. I think the greatest benefit for me was number one, realizing that lead gen doesn't necessarily need to include cold calls. The other thing that I've learned is uh, how to approach the different professionals and earn their business and develop the businesses between us. And I think the last, well, the benefit of having long distance referral business is absolutely phenomenal, and how to build that. And this all falls together. And then even more recently, how to approach your uh, referral partners when you're not necessarily bringing a client with you. I think that was huge. And I know, Paul, you're a very strong proponent of bringing someone with you. But if you don't have someone with you, it was always a question in my mind of, well, okay, how do I get past that? And speaking with Felicia last week, well, it turns out there are other ways to prove your value. Now, granted, bringing a client with you is probably the most beneficial. But the other ways of bringing value to their business is to engage in a consistent dialogue, to bring value by asking and learning them about how I can help them build their business. All right. One of the things that Felicia mentioned is, what are the three questions that I should be asking my folks that will help you build your business? And that is, that will drive the the probability of bringing with you a qualified, I hate to say the word prospect or lead, but that's basically what a qualified individual for that person's business, whether it be an attorney, a CPA, a senior community, whatever the case may be. All right, and how social media all plays into that. This is it. When you look at each individual coach, yeah, they have a lot of they have a lot of good things to say, but when you take a step further back and see how everything ties together, That's the true benefit of the pack.
Wonderful. Appreciate that, Jack. And the biggest benefit of all four of us coming together was we wanted to offer a buffet opportunity, not just one person's training, coaching, or perspective. And obviously, certain things are going to resonate with different types of people, which is why the benefit of having all four of us is here for everybody. I appreciate that feedback, Jack. It's wonderful.
Yeah,
And oh, go ahead. So I was going to interject real quick is I'm working with my team right now is really when it comes down to really any business, but definitely real estate comes down to numbers, contacts, conversations, relationships, partnerships. How many names and numbers can you get? And there's so many ways to get names and numbers. How many times can you stay in contact with them, stay in the flow with them so that you can have the right conversations that will lead to business partnerships, maybe relationships that will lead to introductions, which will ultimately lead into business. And I think we all have, really excelled in that formula, but we've done it in completely different ways, and some similar, and they overlap. But even like how we go and approach a senior living community might be different, but it's working. And I think that's what really also is that, every member can take advantage of is each of us have different ways of doing it. Each of us have different things, but we're all doing it on proven mechanisms, not on, stolen from somebody else, or in theory, this should work, but in reality, it does not work. So yeah, I think that's one of the advantages for the pack.
yeah,
Anybody else with thoughts or questions for us?
yeah, last November, when I first talked to Cory on the phone, I called him and he said, "You're being a beggar, not a builder." I was going, "What you talking about, Willis?" I mean, I was kind of like, I was offended a little bit. And then I saw Paul on those calls, and I thought, this guy's crazy. This guy's a wacko. Now that I
These are
know him,
supposed to be compliments, Daryl. You're supposed to be nice at saying nice things.
now that I know he is crazy, but getting private coaching from me has changed my whole mindset. Because sometimes we don't see our mindset. I saw what I was doing in ministry was good, but I had to take that over to real estate. And I've been in real estate 3 years, and I have less deals than anybody on this call because I've been doing it wrong. And I went after divorce lawyers, knocking on their doors, and I was doing a lot of door knocking, and I got one $2 million deal from that. But I've been doing everything wrong. But now I'm doing what Cory says differently. I'm calling the people and telling them about the attic fires and stuff like that, and giving benefits. And I'm getting more people that want to work with me. But with Paul's private coaching, I mean, today we got a 5:30 Zoom call where probably could end up getting a bunch of buyers here in Southern California, and just my bod, not this bod, my bod, my bod is really growing, and it's not just giving somebody a card and expecting them to call you. It's like it's helping each other out, and it's growing so much that I can see it's a marketing funnel. In marketing, you have funnels to send you clients, but this marketing funnel is real. It's as it grows, a year from now, I'll have 20, 30 leads coming in, a lot, good, strong leads. And it's fun because I can help other people, which I love to do. And it's building relationship. It's changing the way I do business. It's amazing. So thank you. And the social media, I just haven't embraced. That's me. I'll do that later. When I got more money coming in, I'll pay somebody to do that. But yeah, anyway, love you guys. Thank you for changing my life.
Appreciate that, Daryl, very much. And to put you on a pedestal, just so everybody's aware, he referenced how little production he has had over the past 3 years. And I'm not taking any of the credit. He's done a magnificent job during our time together. And he just briefly glanced over what he's put together for tonight. So I'll share this with you guys. He now has gone from absolutely nothing to having 2 buyers approved to buy a home, one qualified for $400,000, the other one for $900,000. And he has tonight one of his financial advisors, bringing other financial advisors on the call and bringing their Spanish speaking clients on the call. I will be hosting and educating all of them as to how ITIN clients can purchase a home. And in his neck of the woods, there are a lot of Spanish clients. So if you think about this, all of you can take this away as well. Many Spanish speaking clients don't realize that they can actually buy a home and they're not US citizens. They get what's called an ITIN number. So through Daryl's board of directors, his financial advisor, bringing other financial advisors who speak Spanish and have a large Spanish presence, are coming tonight to learn about how they can help their clients buy homes, primary homes, second homes, and investment property using their ITIN. They don't have a social security number and they're not US citizens. Daryl will be the financial beneficiary because all of those clients will be looking to buy homes using Daryl. So he did a great job. Think about this. People are coming to this call tonight and Daryl didn't do the work. He did by working with his board of directors, but the room will be filled not because of his efforts, but because of the Spanish speaking financial advisors who are bringing their Spanish clients to learn about this product. Daryl did all that. Incredible transformation in the way that he's looking at his business. So as much as you're thanking us, Daryl, I think you did an absolutely fantastic job putting this together. A really fantastic job. And then one more person too, Lori Mangan offered to share some of her experiences and what she's learning and how she's applying it. And this woman's got over 20 years experience in real estate, helping over 20 families a year get into their dream home and or sell. Laura, share your experiences with everybody and what you've done with us, please.
Actually, I've got so much out of this from everyone. Cory, I love your approach to the when we've role played, and you've given us reasons to contact our sphere in a number of ways, you know, from talking to the marketing people at retirement communities to just touching base with them. I love your, let's see, what is it? Your 10 intentional, what is it that you
10
do every
non-negotiables.
non-negotiables. I just started doing that, and last night before I left work, I wrote all my non-negotiables down today, so thank you. I've been working with Paul on building my my bod, and our very first call that Paul hosted was with a lender. Well, it turns out that that lender, and I have given business to that lender, and I have since we had that phone call as well. But she turned me on to a financial advisor. And that financial advisor, right after that, we went to lunch, the three of us, the lender and the financial advisor and myself. And we immediately, you know, matched and what we wanted to be doing in this business. And they caught on to the board of directors very, very quickly. Matter of fact, the lender is now calling me her lender partner. So, and she wants me to get to our sales meeting, and I just haven't been able to get to it yet. So going on vacation, and I'm hoping next week that's going to happen. As far as another thing that I've learned is that you have to find people that are hungry. I mean, you're willing to go to bat for them and send them referrals. Well, you better make sure that they're ready to go to bat for you too, and they have the resources to do it. I did meet with one insurance person. She does Medicare. Her husband does all the other insurance. And she was real upfront with me. I, you know, told her I was talking to people to put on my board of directors. And she said, at this point, you know, we just don't have time. You know, we're so busy personally and professionally. And she thanked me. And after that, she said, but I'm going to send you referrals. So although she's not on my bod, that to me is a win. My CPA that I use, she hasn't been taking any more clients for at least 3 or 4 years. So I reached out to her yesterday and asked her to give me some names that she recommends for different attorneys, you know, from divorce to estate to financial. And so she just emailed me last night with 3 different people so I can use her name to tap into that. So it's all come together. Paul's given me a different perspective of ways to think about things. And I was getting kind of burnt out, and it's reignited my passion for real estate because I really have a way to help people now.
Laura, just out of curiosity, share with everybody. I know because we did the call, but the lender that you were using for many years and have given her an awful lot of clients, how many times has she ever contributed to your business?
0.
0. So everybody needs to work here. Jokingly, you should all have a mirror in front of you at your laptop. Reflect, take inventory. And when Lori started to do that, she recognized that these people that she's been funding for years have never taken the time to actually learn about her. There was no intimacy. These are relationships based on the money that you're giving out, and there's no intimacy. We just don't know enough about each other. And since we've had that board call, that bod call, that lender has been doing everything that she can to contribute to Lori's business. It just hadn't happened for years, years and years and years. And I'm not saying that in a bad way toward anybody. What I'm saying is I look at things a little bit differently. Good, bad, or indifferent, my perspective serves me and in theory could help you. So my perspective essentially is saying, hey, does that person really love you? Would they help you if they knew how? Is it worth having that phone call and that conversation? And it's been proven time and time again that many of the people that you've been working with and financially supporting, they want to help you. They just don't know how. If they knew how, they would already be doing it. But they really need to be taught how to do it. And when we invested the time in that particular professional, she is almost on a weekly basis figuring out ways to contribute to Lori's business and her growth. And Lori is now taking that extra step and having the conversations with people that she normally didn't have because, all of us have hired those people as service providers. An accountant is providing a service. Your inspector is providing a service. Think about that. They are service providers. And I'm coming along and saying, how about we turn them into partners? Remember, people always aspire to the title you give them. So if you're giving them the title of vendor or a VIP person or someone that you count on, they're going to act like a vendor. If you treat them like a partner, they're going to act like a partner. You have to teach them how to do that. But we always aspire to the title we either give ourselves or we give to other people. When you start to collectively look at those people differently, they will respond differently. And that's exactly what's been happening. It's a beautiful thing to see and witness. And that's why we wanted to share these stories with you guys today and take any questions you may have. Laura, what's the one tagline that you always text me or always say?
This shit works.
She says it constantly. It's almost like the way that I look at that, gang, not only is it a compliment, but the way that I look at it is someone 20 years in the business has a certain way of doing business. And now through humility and a willingness to listen to somebody else, Cory, Gretchen, Felicia, and myself, she's like, okay, I'm going to give this a shot. So it's almost like when she sends me that message, it's affirming the level of confidence in her that, wow, this really does work. I've always been doing it this way. And they're saying, well, try this way and see what type of feedback you get. So to me, that is twofold. Number one, it's a compliment, but also it's building her level of confidence that, wow, this really does work. So let me do more of this. And remember, gang, if you want people to react differently towards you, you just need to act differently towards them. You'll get a different response and also elevate them by giving them a different title. Board of director or partner elevates the status. And Lori just mentioned, when she approached these insurance folks in Medicare and other insurances, they treated this board of directors position very seriously, with respect. They had to decline engaging with Lori because they could not commit the time that Lori required. How about that? What an eye opener that was for Lori to hear someone like that. And then, you know what? They respected it so much. They said, we're still going to send you clients. We just can't give you the level of commitment you're looking for on your bod this time. They also have a special needs child along with their business that they're managing. It's a lot. So they're still going to defer and refer opportunities to her. But that's how That's how much they treated this position with respect. That was a big deal. So Lori was not discouraged. We appreciated their response. It's a very, very different way of looking at things. Daryl?
Yeah, sorry, I want to add one more thing. So it's very important to get the board of directors, like my in-home care, she mentioned to me that she doesn't, people ask her for trust attorneys. She doesn't have one. So I have a trust attorney that's a strong bod. So I introduced the two together, and now they're going to work together. So that's helps me to, that I gave them, I connected them. But it's very important to get them to do what I'm doing, and this thing will just grow exponentially. It'll just keep growing. This marketing funnel that I don't pay for is going to keep growing. Thursday on the private call with Paul, my financial advisor said yes, she wants to come on it to see how he coaches you. So we're going to coach them to do what we do, and this is like an explosion that cannot be stopped. Just, I don't know. I'm amazed. Thank you, Jesus. Sorry.
I just had something else to add. What I started doing once Paul had mentioned, do they have a will? Do they have a financial advisor? So I do a needs analysis whenever I sit down with a potential buyer. And now I've added into my questionnaire, do you have a will? Do you have an estate planner? And Paul said 67% of people don't have a will.
Mm-hmm.
And so everyone I've asked so far, none of them have a will. So I'm just waiting to get an attorney in my bod so that I can start referring business to them. So that's been very powerful.
This is awesome. I love hearing from all of you. This is so wonderful. And as you're all leveling up with adding people to your bod, what's really important is I know a lot of you have attended my referral partnership program that I do, and how I rank them from your A's, your B's, your C's, and how much you're interacting with them. Because what's really important for you, Lori, is the folks who said that they're going to refer to you, you still have to be top of mind to them. So how many times a year are you doing a touch point with them? How many times a year are you seeing them to remind them? Because out of sight is out of mind. And that's how you get others to level up from a C to a B and a B to an A. And that's how I have 70 referral partners right now that I'm working with who give me a ton of referrals every year. And so you're all learning this structure and this process, which is awesome. I'm so proud of everyone.
And by the way, I ordered my boxes yesterday and my labels.
Yes, 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 yes.
Tell me about the boxes and labels.
Lori. Well, Lori attended, I did 2 calls on it. I did an LFG call and I did a masterclass. Part of my listing presentation, which we're going to go into listing presentations next month a little bit more in depth for all of us all the coaches that are doing them, is I bring a listing box with me that is branded. I customize my branding depending on what type of a listing I'm going to. Is it a single family? Is it a condo? Is it a beach home? So that it's tailored to them with my information on it. The listing box is kind of like it fits all of your paperwork inside of it. I use it as a way for them to house all of the listing agreements and the docs and the due diligence that they need to get for me, and the paperwork that they need. And I also give it to them at the time of the listing presentation, and they save it and they love it, and they keep it on the countertop. So every time there's a showing, everyone sees as they come in and they ask, what is that? And I'm like, oh, that's my listing box. So it's a great marketing tool that I've used. And it works really well because a lot of times, depending on who you're working with, but many seniors have things all over the place. And it's a great catch-all tool to keep it all together, but they really love it. All of my clients love it. All my sellers love it.
So I've done something similar, but it's a binder with pockets in it. So yeah, I'll have to explore the box. But yeah, usually every time I meet them, they're carrying it with them. And
yep.
Yeah.
Same thing,
Yeah.
same thing.
Anything else, gang?
Oh, I wanted to share something that is working for me as far as, trying to reach out to people on a regular basis, because when I first meet with someone, I give them a candy jar that has my information on it, like a little house with my contact information, and it's filled with candy. And then about every quarter, and I had shared this with Cory too, every quarter I go and give them a bag of candy to refill that. Cory suggested having some sort of a card or like a success story or something like that. I had just attached like a little 4x6 card that kind of bullet points what I do, but I'm going to change that up and, share some success stories. So, a lot of times people aren't even there, but I'll just drop it off and it'll sit at the front desk with my label and everything on it. So people see it. And so now people are like, oh, I wondered what kind of candy you'd come with this time. So at least they're going to remember me,
That's awesome.
Top of mind.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yes.
I love it.
Yeah. And I try to have it be seasonal, the Easter candy and red, white, and blue M&Ms for 4th of July and that kind of stuff.
Mhm, mhm.
Well, Lori, as far as trust attorneys, I did what, Cory and everybody says, is come up with the hand up and not hand out. So I always had friends that I've called that need a trust attorney. So I've interviewed 5 different ones. They're really not that hard to get into. And I rejected 4 of them. I got one that I like, but I'm gonna get more. So it's like coming, calling all my friends who needs a trust, and a lot of people need a trust. So
Mhm.
it wasn't that difficult.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Cindy is saying Daryl post on social media once a week. Girl, that's a tall ask for Daryl right there.
Is it?
Is that tall?
Cindy, if I had the beautiful background you do, I would do videos right there. You did a good job there.
Well, and it doesn't even have to be a video. There's so many people in this group that do a great job in social media. Just look for them for inspiration and make it your own.
Okay, I accept the challenge.
Okay, just once per week. That's it.
Okay.
That's awesome, Sid. Anybody else? We don't have any other successful stories here with, oh my goodness. Dang, gone.
Okay, I have one more. My first call with Paul, I was going to be going on a listing presentation, and I knew who I was up against, and it was a team, a small team. And Paul said, well, when's your appointment? I said, oh, it's this afternoon. And I said, oh, and by the way, I've noticed that these people like to cook. It's a couple. And so he said, get to Barnes and Noble right away and get a really nice cookbook and take it with you. So I did, and they were just blown away by it. Unfortunately, I did not get the listing, and it would have been a really nice one. I really think I didn't get it because I told them a much lower price to list it at, okay, than the agent that got it. Guess what? I've been seeing price reductions. So how good does that guy look now, huh? And he didn't bring a cookbook.
I'm running into that so much. I'm missing out because, I'm saying that they can get less for the house, and then I see it. I have one from last summer that is still listed that I want to say, told you so.
Uh-huh. So I'm hoping I get it.
So the thought process, getting to pull that away from Lori, again, a seasoned veteran. She knows how to do this, but my strategies aren't necessarily the listing appointment. My strategy was more the mental mechanics of getting an emotion released from a client that attaches them to you. And she had said when she walked in, and she hadn't done this in 20+ years, but when she walked in with that cooking book, there was an intimate connection. The guy loved it. It was absolutely fantastic. So in other words, it's creating a new space in their brain. This chemical reaction that happened when she did that has nothing to do with real estate, but ties you closer to the real estate because you're getting tied closer to the client. So that has nothing to do with what's in your listing presentation, your CMA. I'm like, girl, don't bring anything. Just bring the cookbook. Create that lane in his brain. Now, we can talk further and role play this kind of stuff like, okay, what do you think it should list for? Cory and I are very much in alignment with this thought process that I do my best to never reveal a number. As a matter of fact, Kelly Anderson went on a listing appointment 2 days ago. We role played for 45 minutes prior to that. And I said to her, you need to have this conversation with me as I am the seller and you're not permitted to mention price. She's like, what am I going to talk about? I said, you're not, I call it sales taboo. If you ever played the game Taboo, you get a card, you got to get the other person to guess the word without mentioning these words. I play sales taboo and I buzz her in her ear every time she mentions price. You're not allowed to mention price. So let's think for a little while. Why else would they list with you? Why else would they want to sell their most valued asset with you? You cannot mention price. And we worked through this for 45 minutes and she did an absolutely incredible job. Now prepared to go on that listing appointment and not talk about price. We gave her so many other things that were of massive contribution to this client that ultimately we believe she's getting this. But my point is this: if everything is about price, think about this, gang. What value are you? If everything is just price, there'd be a million Walmarts. There'd be no nicer stores. There'd be a bunch of Burger Kings and no real steak shops. And it's not always about price. When there's something of value to us, we're willing to invest in that. I'm guessing not one person here bought or received a wedding ring, an engagement ring from Walmart. They sell them. Why aren't we getting our ring there? Oh man, can you imagine, right? So think about that. So my point to all of you is this: in us having that collaborative conversation and role playing before you go into that event, we're looking to just try and maybe do something a little bit differently than we've done before. And again, it's a different perspective. So like Lori said, they listed with the other person because they told them a higher number. So even though this cookbook created that lane, that other person still lied to them. And sometimes it's hard to play in an honest pool with dishonest people. Now, the lying is probably a harsh word, but told them something that was unrealistic to get them to sign with them. So maybe that's something we can all role play with. Felicia's good at it. Gretchen's phenomenal. Cory, you guys probably have fabulous information, but that's something we can do and do live role plays about going on that listing appointment. What can we talk about? That would help all of you. It certainly helped Lori. Even if she didn't get the client, it brought more to her game, if you will, to her performance to say, let me take an extra minute or two to see if I can make a different type of connection, that emotional tie, and that helps her for the next one or future opportunities. Maybe that's something we can all do together as well, right?
Well, by the way, he did mention that he wants to buy a couple investment properties and he's going to use me for that.
Yeah, I remember we did talk about that. It was like a consolation prize. Like, damn it, well, I want this one, not the future
I really
one.
wanted the listing.
And I get all that. So maybe there's something we could talk about saying like, okay, this is what happened. How do I alter? How do I introduce? How do I present in a different way to overcome something that's probably happening to every single one of you? Maybe we work on that a little bit, right? Appreciate your feedback. Lori, Daryl, thank you so much. Cindy, thank you. Everybody who participated. Jack, appreciate that, my friend. Any final thoughts, gang, before we go today? Nothing? Appreciate
Remember, one last thought. Remember, perfection is procrastination just wrapped up in a pretty little bow. It doesn't have to be perfect to get done, especially with social media. Posting something is better than not posting. So don't be afraid of it. Rip the Band-Aid off. Invite us all to your Facebook page, Daryl, so that we can support you when you do post. We'll all be happy to do that. Share that on our page so that we can all support you.
Partner, we'll have content tonight at the presentation. Just do a couple snapshots. We'll do some video. We already got the content. There we go.
Yep.
Too easy.
You got it. Just make a reel out of it, put it up. You got it. All right, everyone. Thank you so much.
God bless you guys. Have a great day, everybody.